Everybody, welcome back to the Krita tutorial where we make our cityscape. We're going to do finishing touches and details today. I'm not going to completely finish mine, but I'm going to give you some tips to kind of tie everything together and make it look really awesome. So the first thing I would like to do is go to my building layers here, make sure that's correct, yep. And I want to obviously clean this up. This is not a very clean building here. It's kind of spreading all over the place. It's just not great. So what we can do, you can take our selection tool here, this polygonal selection shape, and I'm just going to draw around that shape. So I have a selection now to work with. It's still a little bit wonky down here, but that's okay. And here, we can go ahead and add final shading and detail to everything without messing up anything else in around this building. I'm actually gonna go ahead and tweak this a little bit more. So if you wanna go back and add that section, go ahead and select that tool again and make sure to have add selection, which is these two overlaying boxes. I'm just gonna zoom in here so we can see that. I think that should be good. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and add a little bit more shadow. Whoops, unlock my layer. Now, when we do this, I wanna think about my lighting as well. So yes, it is gonna be darker up top here in the building, but there's also gonna be a light source coming from the bottom. There's gonna be all this park stuff down here. I'm just gonna do a nice quick blend, not worry too much about it being perfect. If you want, you can use the straight line tool. Let's click and there we go, straight line tool, and we can just do it this way to make it easier. And we can go ahead and blend that. Right, so this is a good enough spot. So now what I want to do is I want to add some more lighting down here. So if we use our eyedrop tool, I'm actually going to brighten this a little bit down here. And add a little bit more brightness here. So here we can say, oh, here's going to be all the street lights and other ambient lights that people are going to be using or creating for shops and things like that. So if we want to make it even more fun, we can add some windows. We can add some nice yellow glows. Maybe make that a little brighter. Actually, add a different layer. Maybe this is a shop window or a cafe or something like that. And a lot of doors will have a little window so you can see inside. So I'm going to add that as well. Again, I'm not going to try and make this super perfect for time purposes. I like you to have a good tutorial, but not have it take a million years to do. Now I'm just going to tweak this corner here a little bit. Okay. Not perfect, but you get the idea. So I'm going to go ahead and do this rough environment detail here of these couple buildings using the selection tool and just fine-tuning, cleaning this up. And if you want to kind of clean up around the outside of the building, you can go to select and invert, and you can just either erase or color outside of the building. So I'm just going to erase a little bit around it. And then I can go ahead and finish off those other buildings later. You can right click on your layer, go to add, and add local selection, and it's going to save that automatically for you. Now I inverted this, so now if I have this on, anything I do is not going to affect that layer. So I'm actually going to delete that. Actually, you should invert again and add local selection. So now if I only want to affect this building, I have that selection saved. I don't have to go and make multiple layers for each building. So I'm going to do the same thing with this building here. I'm going to use our polygonal selection tool. Just kind of, it's not going to be perfectly straight, but that's okay. Oops. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and start adding in some detail. Alright, so I went and spent a couple days when I could working on this illustration, and I'm calling it done enough for the sake of the tutorial because I don't have the time to finish it completely because it will take a couple more days, which I want to get this tutorial out and done. But I did add a ton of other detail in here compared to what I had before, which I don't remember what it was, but a lot less. So I'm just going to go over some things I did that you can do yourself. I added the fountain here, which still needs work with the perspective and definitely needs work with the color a little bit more, but I got some sparkly water fountain goodness going. Got the trees in there just for landscaping. I kind of implied that this was more like a brick type cement area with some splashy color variation, which you would see in like classic paintings and stuff like that. Still needs a lot of work, but again, for the sake of the tutorial, we're calling it done. And it's some street lights with some lighting, some more windows for the taller buildings, and I colored in the figure and gave her an outline, added some more shadow here, and yeah. So if we were to, let me just save that. Oh, it's already saved. So if we were to like crop this down here, hide all this unfinished stuff. This wouldn't look too bad. This actually looks a little bit more finished. So if I were to make life easier on myself, I could crop it down here and just make a really weird sized print or something and call it a day. Because then your focus is drawn to this area. I probably should change her face to look more directly here. It's not quite there yet, but again, tutorial purposes. So I'm gonna go over a couple things that I did finish this up. So I had colored in with just a flat, I think it was like a greenish color or something like that, or just a dark gray, and added the lighting. And then for the color, I just used a second layer, multiplied it, grouped these together with the alpha inheritance, so it only focused on inheriting the alpha from the layer beneath it within the group, and just add a little bit of color. That's really all I did. I didn't do anything else crazy, kept it simple. For the buildings, I did a lot. I added a little bit of a shadow figure in here to hint that there were people in the building. I have all my windows on a separate layer. I have my street lights on a separate layer and the light itself. These could probably be touched up a lot more. I just did a quick line and implied that was a street light. But it adds a bit more of a city feel to it. You know, you have street lights. There are no, most places, or most cities rather, are not missing street lights. And for the glow, I just took white, I think it was, and I just put a couple of strokes and I just blended it. I didn't even make a full cone shape, but with the way this is blending, oops, I'm on the wrong layer. There we go. With the way it blended, it worked out because it gave the illusion that there's, you know, light here that's shining down, but there's kind of like sections where it's not super bright, but then when it hits the ground, it kind of fades off. You know, it's got that nice glow effect. I could probably go and tweak it some more. Add like a hot spot. You would see. You know, something like that. I have my trees on a separate layer. I don't know why, but I had the 2 rows on separate layers. I just never merged them. I just duplicated this over here. If I were to go back and redo this, I'd probably make this a little bit more of a bluish color. Darken it a little bit to match the darkness of night, because these would not be bright green. So theoretically what I could do, if I merge that down, I can make a new layer and group them. Turn on alpha inheritance. I'm gonna switch this to multiply, kind of just give this a bluish green. Color over them. And then I would just take away some of the color where the lighting is. So the light's probably brightest on the outside of the trees. Probably want to go in and just change the color on that a little bit, but you can see how this looks more like a glow now. For the buildings, I went through and I made an individual mask for each one. And you can see when I turn it on and off, it's isolating those selections. So if you wanted to turn this off, we'll just pretend I don't have a mask for this building. Well, I don't have a mask for this building here. So we're gonna just mask this building out. Okay, and we're gonna do this because when we go to shade it, add any other detail, we want to only affect this one single building. I'm gonna right click on that layer, go to add, and add local selection. So automatically I have a selection 5. If I click on it, everything is red except the building. What this is gonna allow me to do is add color here, but not outside of the selection. So now I can add this building here and not worry about anything else. Now if I want to deselect it, I can just click on this little circle icon and now it's deselected. And this will allow me to just erase around it. If I want to take parts of it out, I can erase it. Or if I turn that back on and I click on that selection layer, I can actually go and adjust the mask myself. So white will add things back in. So if for some reason I wanted to include this whole section, I could. Or if I want to take away parts, maybe the perspective isn't correct, which it's not, I can go ahead and just color that back in. Now, if you have extra areas you want to remove as well, you can just use your selection tool here, the lasso, go to tool options and select subtract. And while this is there, I can go ahead and do the same thing. I can just circle, turn it off, and you can see that it affects the mask automatically. This seems to be the better option to add and subtract. Sometimes the paintbrush, it doesn't like register. And once you have the selection saved, you can go ahead and click through each one and switch between them as needed. So this one I actually have to go and fix the mask part on. It's a little, we've got some extra bits around the side here, which I don't need to keep anymore because I tweaked the building next to it. If you want to add parts back in, switch to add, and there you go. And that way, every time you go back to change anything on a building, you can go ahead and just swap between the selection tools and not worry about affecting anything else. This way you don't have to make a separate layer for everything because that's just exhausting. And here I just have the ground plane, just like the little park-ish area here, the sidewalk, the streets. I probably would want to add like a, what do you call it? The lanes in here. If I wanted to make it kind of faded, I could just brush it a bit with the blur, because we all know that these are not perfect in real life. And I'm actually going to use this. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this tutorial about how you can go ahead and set things up to make it your own city landscape, or just a portion of it, because it is a lot of work. And yeah, that's it for this tutorial series. I do plan on finishing this because I am kind of happy with the direction it's going. I might want to go back and change the perspective a little bit, or the buildings, because they're not quite where I want them still. And I know I'd go back and add all the like roof decals, well, the air conditioning units and things like that, air filtration, whatever they got going on up there. I'd probably go and add some of that just to add more believability that it's a city. But otherwise, this is a pretty good spot to end the tutorial and this particular short mini series. If you enjoyed it, let me know in the comments below if this gave you some tools about how to approach your own little city, and ways to use the layers to your advantage without having like multiple layers for each building. Things like that, let me know in the comments below. If you have any questions, I'd love to answer them. Also, let me know in the comments below, and make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on the new tutorial.